everyone, I want you all to do a favor for me. I want you to imagine a 12 to 13-year girl with the same height as me or a bit shorter, without the specs. She is brilliant in studies and other extracurricular activities. Imagine a girl with such a perfect personality. What if I tell you that the girl you imagine right now is me a few years ago? Before you think I'm bragging so much about myself, let me come to the gist of my story. That in spite of having all the things I thought I would ever want at that time, I still felt incomplete. I always wanted to have some company with me. I could not even go to the washroom alone from my classroom. Although I was fortunate enough to have fun-loving people around me who always kept the environment cheerful, still I was unable to interact with them. Still, I always had that feeling of being left out. Here, the problem was never with the people around me. My friends, amazing. My family, amazing. But something was off with me and I couldn't figure it out. In this process, I was losing all my confidence. I felt disconnected with everyone. I couldn't share my experience with anyone because I felt that there's nothing at all to share as I was still unable to understand my own issue. So I decided to just dig deep into things and find out what was actually happening with me. Gradually, I realized that this is what loneliness is. I could clearly see it, but couldn't accept it because I always had so many people around me, my friends around me, my family around me, and invariably my younger brother around me to take me as much as he could. And it was well established in my mind that a person surrounded with so many people cannot be lonely. So I assumed that the cause of my social behavior isn't loneliness. As human nature is, pondering over a subject and Googling it to know more about it, I did the same. I Googled, why do I feel disconnected with my friends and family? I clicked on the first link that appeared. The author of that article had listed 18 reasons as to why people feel the same. I started reading. The first reason was, you are in love. And because of that, you can't feel connected with your friends and family. So I was like, nah, I'm not that lucky, and I was 13 for God's sake. So I went to the next point, which was, you are not liking the company of your friends and family. Definitely not. I love their company. I kept my phone aside as the Google search wasn't helping me at all. We know it always relates mild headache to tumor, right? But can we really escape the train of thoughts it induces in us? Definitely not. So I kept wondering that it might be something related to the company I keep. I kept on thinking, and after brainstorming for a few days, or rather say for a few weeks, I came to a conclusion. I realized something that was a true eye-opener for me. I realized that I do admire the presence of people around me. I do like their company. But what I don't like is my own company. After this realization, suddenly everything started making sense. It was the whole and sole reason behind me always wanting to have people around me and hating to be alone. After this realization, when I thought further, two prominent revelations about human behavior which just blew my mind off were as follows. Firstly, a person can be alone in a room full of amazing people too. And secondly, once you start enjoying your own company, you tend to be more happier, due to which you start enjoying others' presence too, and hence you become more comfortable with them. So the happiness which we keep on searching in this entire world is rooted somewhere deep into ourselves. It's just that we have to explore our own universes as much as we could, and we have to move a step ahead towards solitude. Focus that even I initially thought that loneliness and solitude are just synonyms. But no, I was terribly wrong. Loneliness is when a person hates to be with themselves. But solitude is when a person is quite comfortable being alone. So let's come back to my story again. I was finally relieved that now I have discovered the cause for my social behavior. But at the same time, I was really concerned because after all, it was loneliness. So I kept on thinking, what should I do? What should I do? So right now, my problem was discovered, but the solution was upcoming. I remember at that time I read a quote which goes as, loneliness is the sign that you are in desperate need of yourself. So I started searching for ways to spend time with myself. I got to know myself, I learned about my likes and dislikes, what my personality was at that time, what kind of person I wanted to be in the future. And in short, I really got to know about myself. Some of my takeaways were, yes, I like mathematics, I like to play volleyball, I like to sketch and paint, I like to just lie on my bed and listen to Taylor Swift, I like to watch cooking videos, but I never really wanted to cook anything. In short, I was really indulged in myself that I finally started liking my own company. Due to which, I was comfortable with my friends and family again. I regained my interest in the things which started boring me, and finally, I was back on track. But believe me, this wasn't a one-week process. It really took a long, long time, and even till this date, I'm learning things about myself. It was until last year I discovered that I am an extrovert and I love to interact with people. But at first, I was just shy, due to which I accepted the false fact of me being an introvert. And I want to tell you one more thing, that the graph of my journey was never an x is equal to y, 45 degree straight line merging from the origin which just went up. In fact, it was a wave of ups and downs which were filled with ups and downs and which was superimposed on the line x is equal to y. What I meant to say, what I'm actually meant to say is that there were lots of high and low points throughout my journey. But by that time, I learned how to deal with myself, how to use my strengths and weaknesses as a way to fight from the issues, and this in fact helped my graph travel in an uptrend. So by this time, I was done with myself, I was done with what my problem was, I was done with how to find a solution. And after observing myself to an extent, I started observing things around me, which were mostly people. And what I observed was that the so-called nerdy person who is sitting at the corner of the class and the so-called cool classmate around whom everyone is making a circle are both lonely. And irrespective of whether a person is alone or not, they both are lonely. And I'm so sure that some of you are going through the same issue in some manner or the other. Most of you haven't even thought of spending some time alone with yourself and enjoying your own company. So, what can we do to like our own company? How can we attain solitude? I'll try to help you answer these questions through my experience. According to me, the first step towards attaining solitude is self-acceptance and self-love. Another self-love talk. Believe me, self-love is the solution to most of the teenage life crisis, if that's a thing, which we all face. So I want you all to take some time off your everyday schedules and stand in front of a mirror. Look at yourself, your appearance, your personality, your habits. Just observe yourself. Think about what you don't like about yourself. Can you really change it? If yes, then start working on it. And if no, then learn to accept it. I never really liked the fact that I'm short, but I can really not do anything about it. So I learned to accept it, and I accepted that this is me, and I stopped feeling bad about it. And on the other hand, I could definitely change my bad habits. I had a terrible habit of biting nails. And to rectify that, I went to my mother, as we both have the same habit. We both had the same habit. And as a solution, we started applying nail paint, because we both hate the smell of nail paints. And you won't believe me, but this solution really helped us keep our teeth off their previous duty. Likewise, you all can do the same, find out solutions to change yourself, to accept yourself, and this way you'll like yourself more and you'll experience the happiness of self-love. The second crucial thing is spending time with yourself. This is where you take out time for your hobbies, for your passions, and if you don't have any, you try to create some. Lastly, the most necessary thing is relaxing yourself. You may say that indulging in hobbies is quite relaxing, right? But the true meaning of relaxation is associated with meditation. Meditation, how boring. Initially I thought the same. When I first used to meditate it, I used to sleep throughout. Then when I learned how not to sleep, then after I meditated, I used to have random thoughts in my mind. What if I could fly? What if the earth was flat? What if my best friend becomes the president of India? Then, now when I meditate, even for a few minutes, once a week or so, I can concentrate on one single thought. And that's what meditation is. It isn't being crowded by so many thoughts at once. It isn't being thoughtless. It's the balance between two extremes. And believe me, after I meditate, I feel as if everything is back on track. I feel as if I'm back to normal. I feel as if I'm connected to myself again. And according to me, now meditation is like the fragrant candle we all light after a challenging day which soothes us to our core. Now, after following these 3 steps, or rather say procedures, you will not just feel more comfortable with yourself, but you will feel more confident, more aware, more active, and most importantly, more loving towards life. To conclude, I would like to say just one thing, that with the advent of social media and technology, we have become so used to being surrounded by people that we have forgotten to spend time with ourselves. We have forgotten how to take out time for ourselves. Any moment we find us alone fills us with panic and fear. So why not change this fear into happiness? Why not convert this fear into happiness? Why not find happiness in the me time? Because even if everyone else leaves, you will be having you standing by yourself. So why not start loving yourself? Why not start spending time with yourself? Because at the end, you will be having you. Thank you.